Hey, what's up, guys? New Medicines here. Today we're gonna talk about Eldrazi Tron deck tech, and on this Eldrazi Tron version that I came up with is a lot of tinkering from a lot of builds coming from different people. And I've noticed there's a lot of emergence of different Eldrazi Eldrazi builds, especially like last night I came across it Eldrazi themed um Kikijiki combo with, the Restoration Angel kind of thing that was before when Burning Pot and Splinter Twin, became banned. And I was surprised that I'm a huge Eldrazi fan ever since, Rise of the Eldrazi came out. And I'm really surprised that people, can come up with those kind of ideas, and it's pretty good. I like it, and it's surprisingly good. So, this on particular Eldrazi Tron build that I have is it's focused on colorless and a little splash of black, but it's payable by life. So what we have in lands is Cavern of Souls. It's really a must because there's a lot of instances that you're gonna encounter a lot of control decks, control matchups, especially against Eldrazi, which are common now that they're trying to like um, prevent you from winning with your Eldrazi's. But one Cavern of Souls is actually fine. You don't need two or so. Two would be okay, but budget-wise, I would just suggest like one Cavern of Souls. Four Eldrazi temples is a must, definitely. You always want that two mana Eldrazi casting mana to be able to do it like on second turn or four turn I mean first turn and second turn you'll be able to cast Thought Not Seer or Matter Reshaper, and on and possibly on the third turn you'll be able to cast a Reality Smasher. So those are really the key purpose of Eldrazi temples that you would want to always have. And they're amazing in some aspects that you can actually cast, like tribals, like all it does, things like that. And back into the lands, Gemstone Caverns is gaining popularity among modern players since it adds advantage, especially if you're not in your turn and you have this in your hand. You actually gain like a first turn Matter Reshaper if you have Gemstone Caverns and Eldrazi Temple, which is a really, really good way to start up on your, when it's not your, what do you call this, like, turn to start. So if you're in a draw, yeah, Gemstone Caverns is really, really awesome. Ghost Quarters, I strongly suggest like getting four because there's a lot of like a few days ago, I saw this Tweedle deck, which is a really pain to I think to go against with, especially since Storm died and now the Tweedle deck came and also the Tooth and Nail combo, those kind of things. It's really nice to have Ghost Quarters to destroy all those lands enchanted with mana ramps, and Ghost Quarters are do work well with surgical extraction when killing mirror matches with Tron. Just go squatter them, surgical extraction the land, and you're done. You don't have to cast crumble to dust or some or sowing salt, things like that. Um, on this build, I want for some instance I find Sanctum of Ugin not entirely 100% useful, but it is useful in some cases. Like for emergency purposes, if you can't find your winning, your winning cards like Ulamog and Kozilek, if you were able to cast like, Chalice of the Void for like millions and Karn, it does help, and also it always does. If you're able to cast these for a bunch of mana and you still don't have Kozilek and Ulamog, Sanctum of Ugin really helps a lot. I thought about using Planar Bridge before, but to Planar Bridge this just these two, I don't think it's worth it to do that. And I think it's best to just use it on different decks. Urza's Mine, Power Plant, Tower, four of each playset is a must. I only put two waste. Some people put three waste, but two works well for me. For Blood Moon cases, they're really great because it does help with your and also Path to Exile. It does help with your mana fixing if if you wanted a basic land. Um, Expedition map is a must. Definitely, some builds still do keep like chromatic spear, chromatic star, things like that. But on this part, you really it, draws are pretty much. I would say it's not necessarily needed, but this is an aggro deck, partially an aggro deck, because you have turn one, two, three plays that you can do. So you really don't need to keep on doing cantrips and stuff. I put one on board, spatial contortion. Because sometimes on aggro matches, especially burn and a lot of aggro stuff, aggro decks, I tend to not like dismember too much because of it burns a lot of life, like it takes out for right away. But it is useful in in a couple of in first two turns. But spatial contortion against like for example um Goblin Guide, the Mana Dorks, Noble Hierarchs, especially like Monastery Swift Spear, they're super useful against it and to keep them from bumping them up because of the negative three or the plus plus three plus minus three. So it actually helps a lot. And Warping Whale is super useful against like killing off Birds of Paradise, Noble Hierarch, and if you come across it, like sorcery speed spells, you can just counter them. And plus, it create mana dorks for you to be able to do if you're short on mana. Like at the end of your turn, you can just cast it, and then I mean at the end of the opponent's turn, you can just cast it and get mana, advantage on the next turn on your turn. Spell Guide on main, it really helps with a lot of decks, oh, especially like if 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 Infect deck is still like viable, but I believe still viable, and pump a lot of pump decks, pump spells. I still see like a couple of pump decks, and it's a good blocker. To to play 0/4, really big body. Two dismembers, like I said, is actually enough. Some I would try like two spatial contortion and one dismember and put it on the side if anything, because -5/-5 is really good against like Goyf, Tazigurs, big bodied creatures from the opponent. Four Matter Shapers is totally a must and Thought Not Seer because they're like your 3 turns creatures, especially if you have Eldrazi Temples. And with that card advantage from Matter Shaper is really awesome. Thought Not Seer is your great removal. You just have to protect it. Reality Smasher just is awesome. Um, Imagine 3 turns Reality Smasher is really awesome, and it just sometimes it just wins the game. Having paired up with either of these two, Thought Net or Matter Shaper. Batterskull is somewhat your best bet for against aggro's, burns, and also they sometimes come in as an endgame card or creature or equipment, whichever you guys would put him to. And Endbringer just ends game. That's how I think about Endbringer. Endbringer is just awesome in a lot of ways. Not only that, it taps and taps. You can do a lot of things whenever it untaps. You can ping, you can draw, you can mark them that cannot block, things like that. Just a lot of advantage in Endbringer. I was gonna try like three pieces of Endbringer, probably like bring a couple more of removals, either removals or another Karn. But I'm trying this build right now, if it actually is viable. All it does is amazing against Blood Moon, all the removal stuff, but as long as you get the mana right, you get seven and stuff on the third turn or the fourth turn, you get those mana right away. All it does is just amazing in a lot of ways. It's easily counterable, yes, but on most aggros, they would love to like just kill you right off, and having all of us is just amazing, especially in Blood Moon too, because you don't need a specific mana for it. Karn one of just one for now, because I just use him like for because Karn is a really good control card. Keep all those permanents in play and the hands in play. So just keep it in, if you manage to keep him on board, you just practically control the match. I see a lot of people like play like four chalices or three chalices. I only include two because I only see chalice as a disabler in a lot of matchup until you get your pieces, you get your winning setup, and chalice for zero, chalice for one or two is entirely great against but if you manage to like put a chalice to one, you also disable yourself from playing all your search your expedition maps. But it does help in mirror match though. So I put only two because sometimes it's kind of like a dead draw if you have so much of it, and two actually works fine with me. Ulamog is one of your late finishers, which you don't want this in your hand in the first 2, 3 turns, but you do want it at the end of the game, if possible. But if not, it's not your really win con. You have a lot of creatures that you can actually win with, but Ulamog is just just scare off people. Kozilek, on the other hand, has a really useful card draw advantage, and also able to counter spells in such a way that you can just discard each one of your, if you have enough in your play that you don't need, you can just discard them and just, practically counter the heck out of the people. And going to our sideboard, sideboard, surgical extraction works amazing in a lot of matches. Living End, Tron, um, not particularly Burn, but you can win it against Geeky Combo decks. A lot of surgical extraction is just plainly amazing. It just disables your opponent in a lot of ways. You can actually use it against my favorite deck, Agnosium, things like that. I put a Dismember sideboard just in case, like if you see a lot of big creatures and you think that the Dismember is not enough on board, you can actually change this one Dismember out of for spatial contortion against like Merfolk matches and things like that. Because um, this four life that you're losing here is actually really significant for me against a lot of creature matchups. So I think spatial contortion in a way is a way better. But who knows? This is we want to try it out. Two spatial contortion, you board into your main. If you see a lot of aggros, you have one in board, two at the sideboard. Basilisk Collar works really wonders and aggro matchup. It's just one to play and plus two to equip. So if you have this on your first turn, you can play it on and be able to Matter Reshaper in the second turn. You just practically just equip this guy and just kill all those big dudes. Two Pitting Needles is awesome against a lot of Planeswalker, a lot of combo decks, Skiki-Jikis ad nauseam. You can just name Nahiri, you can name I don't know, Karn if you're on a mirror match, but here also disable your Karn, but you gotta just play it smart. Relic of Progenitus is it's a no-brainer. It's a must and a lot of graveyard decks. A few days ago I came across with a Life of the Loam deck, the Dredge. I mean the Dredge, yeah, Dredge, right? No, that's Dredge fine, but this Life of the Loam deck is still good. It's still powerful, and Relic just disables them. Um, Living End, a lot of graveyard advantage decks. Relic is just awesome. Ratchet Bombs, I believe, they're actually good in token matchups. Tokens, they're good against removing like low CMC threats. One, two, or three. You can actually use it to also remove Blood Moons, Delvers, aggro stuff, and Ratchet Bomb is just plain amazing. I didn't put too much of it because I believe there's a lot of good stuff that you can actually just use for it, and it's just plain amazing. You can actually replace either this member or whichever for this Oblivion Stone if you feel like it's a lot more useful than a spot removal, but it's up to you guys. And Chalice of the Void, an additional one for Bloomless Titan decks. This has just it just helps you a lot for against those zero casting plays. Living End against Living End is awesome too because it just counters Living End. You just put it to zero and it just they won't be able to play Living End. And Chalice of Void is so good in a lot of one-off, like one CMC versus one CMC decks. And yeah, so this is my Eldrazi Tron version deck, and I hope you guys like it. If you guys have any like comments, suggestions, or anything that you guys want to talk about regarding the decks and your decks that you like, please comment, put your comments on the section below. And if you guys want more videos and deck text and stuff, matches, just be sure to subscribe and like and share if you guys like the video, and put your comments section below, like I said, if you have any suggestions. Okay, all right, thank you so much guys for watching, and hope you guys see you soon.